Hey guys, I'm going to be putting up a quick video today. I'm just going to be talking about how to build your PvP team today. I've done very basic versions in the past. Also, there's obviously just making up tiers and things like that. I'm not going to be going for first this week. So it's not practical. I got dinner plans tonight, so I'm not going to be around for the last couple hours, and people are going to be blowing crystals like crazy. I'm up by like 5 points right now because I just beat Lamian, but he hasn't revenged me yet, so that's fine. Scissor, alright. Alright, so we're going to be looking at why certain heroes are good and what their great uses are. Now, you already know my team. I want to stress that my team is really good for who I'm playing against. It's not the best team of all time. I don't. There's really a lot of variance based off where you're at in both the story, what heroes you have, and your rank generally on a ladder for what people are going to be using around those times. So I use Chenny. Slot 1, Serenity slot 2, Kai slot 3, Bearman slot 4. Now, the reason that I have those like that, it's not because, well, I do personally feel that Chenny, Serenity, and Kai are the best 1, 2, and 3 slot heroes. Like I believe that without like a shred of doubt in my mind. Even with the new heroes that are out now, Angela, Azriel, and Lee, I do feel that those are still the 3 top. If I maxed out Lee, he might be a better slot 1. I've even thought about making my new formation Lee, Chenny, or probably Chenny Lee. Chenny Lee, Kai, and Jack, because I don't want to be too scissor heavy. I do feel that's a bit of a weaker team for a couple different reasons, but we're going to go into it. So, when you're building your team, you're going to really need to kind of judge based off the ladder. Now, a really simple way to do it: go into the ranking, see all these people, look at their first slot hero. This is the first thing you need to decide. You need to decide what is the best tank for you to have in your slot 4. Now, you don't have to have a tank in slot 4. Though I wish that I could queue up against Spirits right now on the bridge map and show you how amazing it is to have his Jenny go and attack Bearman every single time and leave Serenity and Kai alone. It's pretty fantastic. Like, aggro is a straight up control while you are controlling stat. Jack is a better defender than Bearman. Because Bearman is generally not going to use his stun on auto. He's going to use his third and his second. Like, he basically will never use his stun. Bearman is not a good character on defense. He's really easy to deal with when you are attacking the person with the Bearman, but he's very amazing to have for you because he's the tankiest tank there is. Now, generally, you're going to line up your first with their fourth. On the bridge map is the easiest example. On the ice map, like, positioning really doesn't matter all that much. It's more about what gear you have on your characters, who can walk on swamp, how to get into the middle quickly, and how to control the space so you get all your area attacks down. Like, it's the ice map is the easy map, so we're going to leave it out here. We're just going to talk about the bridge and the square because they're the ones that are turn 1 impactful decisions happen. But generally, the AI will always attack the character in their lane without some kind of outside force. Now, aggro is that outside force that can motivate the AI to do different things, which makes it a very powerful thing. So when you're choosing your tank, you basically got to consider their first slot hero. Now, I'm going to ignore myself here, but Chenny is generally the most favored first slot hero, and unless there's the odd person using a rock type hero, but a good 90% of the players are paper and scissors. A lot of the people going paper are doing it because Jack is the most common tank. A lot of the people going scissors are doing it because scissor heroes are just so strong. The scissor heroes are pretty damn strong. Now, what I don't like about Jack for PvP here is 2 out of 3 maps he's going to be lining up with a hard counter. People that are running Scissor are probably not going to be running their Scissor attacker willingly into your Jack. It's just not likely to happen. What's nice is that Jack is going to be solid against the Scissor heroes. It's just the other half are generally paper heroes. You're gonna have to judge this by your own like around the people in your general area for your ranking. Just sort of see within 50 ranks who's around you of what's going on. If you're really low and you don't want to have to swipe all the way down to the ranks to the really to be able to find your name somewhere down, then just judge it by the people that you queue. And just sort of keep track of it. Every time you have 5 new options up, just maybe make a note somewhere. Okay, scissor, paper, rock, or something like that, just to see where they're at. Because those are the people that are generally going to be in your range that are going to be attacking you. Now, very, very few people are using rock for slot 1 heroes. Slot 1 heroes generally are the better options are in paper and scissor. To be honest, they're the best slot 1 hero that's rock, I believe, is Rage. And Rage just underperforms compared to Chenny, because like the thing about your slot 1 hero is you want something that's versatile and strong. Having armor ignore in your first slot hero makes your character more versatile, because now even characters that are the same type, or maybe even advantaged towards you, are now taking extra damage. Somebody brought to my attention that a while ago that armor reduction is calculated before any potentials or percents are added to it, so it takes it off your base defense. So it actually lowers your defense by quite a sizable amount, depending on the situation. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but if it does work like that, armor ignore heroes are definitely going to be in line with having the highest attacks, with the exception of Jenny, because Jenny has this huge 50% critical modifier. The amount of defense you're going to ignore is not going to equal a 50% damage modifier. So Jenny, even though her stats aren't like amazing, she has the potential to do some crazy damage with that. So I'd say that Jenny's probably the best paper hero in slot 1. Still better than Angela, that's for sure. Though Angela brings a lot of tankiness to it for a very small reduction of her damage potential. So probably going to see a lot of Angelas pop up for a little bit. But not too many. I think that Jenny's probably going to hold slot 1 for paper more. Now you're seeing a lot of Moos and Carrots down here too, a few Cleos. I do feel those characters are much better off in the center. Why can I not remember your name? Nox. Nox is a great paper slot 1 hero, but he's not... Where he suffers is he is not a in-your-face kill-you hero, even though he's an attack-type hero. A very strong one, too. He just doesn't have any kind of skill that breaks the limits of the game. Any character that doesn't have something to add some huge modifier isn't going to be able to post the huge numbers like Chenny, for example. Chenny's got a broken passive that gives her 23% more attack. That is a 23% extra modifier that then goes into the skill. So say you have 23% extra attack, then of 10,000 attack, now you have 12,300 attack. And then that attack gets calculated into your skill modifier, and she has a 200% skill. So her passive actually increases the attack percent. How it translates into damage, it doubles basically the increase that it gives in terms of flat damage that happens. And then there's all your damage increase modifiers and all the other things that go into the calculation to bring those numbers up. So that's really good. On top of that, she has an armor ignore at the same time. So that's what makes Chenny like probably one of the absolute best heroes in the game. I don't know if Lee's actually able to post the same kind of numbers that Chenny is, but I'm really hoping he's going to, because I'm kind of bored of using Chenny and I want to put Lee in slot 1 when I have him maxed in a few weeks. But that's it. Like for slot 1, slot 4, like these are probably the most important slots. The second 2 slots, there's 2 things you want to have. You want to have some really good utility, because it's always good to have a, well, if I get completely face rolled, I hope this works kind of plan. Also, you're going to want to have a strong area attacker that doesn't have any kind of influence. Now, Jenny being a slot 2 or slot 3 hero, I used to think that she was really good in slot 2. I've completely changed my mind on that. She's way better in slot 1. You can basically guarantee, if you have a slot 1, slot 2 paper, you could almost guarantee that she's going to benefit from her passive. Almost guarantee. Now, if you go first, you always guarantee it. So there's a 50-50 chance right off the hop. There's nothing they can do about it. If you go second, then they need a ghost step probably to stop you. Or they need, like on the square map, they would need to kill Jenny. On the ice map, it's going to be really hard to deal with her, seeing as how she's going to be in front of everybody already. And with her movement, like she's a pretty solid hero for all 3 maps. The only downside to Jenny is she is pretty squishy, and if a lot of people are running Jenny in slot 1, when you run into people on the square map, if you go second. Now, again, this is only if you go second, so it's not a such. It's 50% of the time on the square map. But they'll probably run their Jenny over and just kill you in one shot. That's going to happen because there's no way that a well-geared Jenny is not going to one-shot no matter how well they're geared, a Jenny. It's just not practical. Now, that being said, papers in slot 1, what advantage do they have? It's mostly the flood of jacks. Jack is probably the best PvP, or actually just in general, the most offensive based tank in the game. He'll put up the most numbers. He'll be able to have the best sustain in an actual fight. Like the stronger our heroes get, the better Jack gets, because his damage is based off of a percentage of HP. So if somebody has like Eldrika's Trinity on him, Jack might just be able to hit hard enough because of that to debilitate them more. Like the way that it would work is because it is a percent, having Eldrika's Trinity isn't going to make you more weak against Jack, but what it is going to do, because it does percentage damage, so you're still going to have more than you would have HP-wise left than if you didn't have it when he attacked you. It's just he's going to be able to heal himself more, so he might be able to put himself in a safe zone that gets him away from being killed in another shot after you attack him. So like he's probably the most useful defense-wise. So a lot of people are running paper heroes to deal with that, because they're going to run into Jacks 90% of the time. Almost every single Jack on the ladder here, fourth slot on the ladder here is going to be a Jack in terms of tanks, if we could actually get some out. Look, 2 out of 4. We got a reset here. Let's go and use it again and see what we get. All right. Oh, spirits. You know what? We're gonna fight him. Well, slot 4. It's missing Jack, and a move for some reason. All right. Not everybody runs the tank for some reason, but that's perfectly fine. But Jack is basically what your first slot hero is going to run into all the time. So if you don't have any good movement gear, and you're thinking about the bridge map, then your paper hero is going to have an easier time dealing with Jack. So that's going to be a little bit of a plus for that, but because your tank generally isn't going to solo the whole team. Now there's some really super overgeared, like insanely overgeared Jacks on the ladder. They're definitely out there, but that's really not going to do it for you. We're going to do this actually and hope we get the bridge map so we can demonstrate the power of aggro. And knowing my luck, maybe it'll be like the one time in the last 100 battles that Jenny will ignore aggro on Bearman and just go straight up and attack Kai in the face. But we'll probably get the square or the ice map. Hopefully we don't. If we do, then I'll just play it through and I'll keep going with what I'm doing. All right, perfect. So demonstrating the power of aggro. Now I'm going to make the ideal position for Jenny to come and attack me in. Now Spirits' Jenny has 7 movement. All right, so if I go over here and attack Lena, which I'm going to do, I don't think this is a really tanky Lena. I don't know if I can even one-shot her. 56%, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to do it without a crit. But I've made the position possible that Jenny can walk around, be right in front of Chenny, and she will be able to hit Chenny, Serenity, and Kai. So I'm making this ideal position for the computer. All right, great. We got the crit. But still, she's going to go and attack Bearman. That is why aggro is so important in these situations. Now, in this position here, I'm actually just going to go and heal Bearman and try and stun Lee back. We're probably going to... Jenny is... Her paper advantage is negligible. She's not going to be doing amazing things for you here. I'm going to come and kill this just so I can triple team Jack in one turn. I'm always really cautious with Jacks just in case people have got like gold tiger sets or whatever lying around. I never take any chances with things like that. I don't want to get caught off guard. Okay. Pretty sure he doesn't have charm immunity. Yeah. Alright, anyway, that's how awesome aggro is. The most underrated stat in PvP. A lot of people are more for what they feel are practical. Oh, I won down to second place. I probably just got revenge, that's all. But really important to have aggro. Just that's all I'm saying. Anyway, back to it. So slot 2s and slot 3 heroes. Now, Serenity is so broken in slot 2, it's outrageous. Now, again, slot 2, picture your slot... well, when you're in slot 2, you can't just think of it on the bridge map. You got to think the square map too. Like bridge and square are the only really close quarter maps, so we're going to only be discussing those two instead of the ice maps. Though it is really nice that Serenity has Swamp Walk for the ice map also. I've actually got the Glacier set on my Serenity to give her ice advantage also, which gives her another 20% damage increase while she's standing on the ice. And she doesn't take any damage when she's standing on the ice. So really cool things that you can do with some of the more not so highly rated sets. There's really cool things that you can do. Just want to keep that in mind. Might even be putting a Thornbush set on my Bearman so he doesn't take damage from the spikes in the ice map also. Anyway, moving on. You want to be considering the second and the third slot, as well as the first slot with your slot 2 hero. Why? Because, well, especially for me, anyway. For me, I run into almost every player has at least one ghost step in the top 10. Basically, everybody's got it. And you're going to have to assume that they put at least one on their first foot forward. The exception is Aaron's son. Aaron's son does not have ghost step on his tanks because it's obviously going to be better for him to have Pathfinder sets on those characters. But maybe he'll have ghost step someday, I don't know. We'll see. But he's not doing it right now. But almost every other player has their attacker or some strong lead character that's got a ghost step set in the top 10. Now, with that, you're going to want to consider your second hero to have the most value or the most utility in this position. Your second hero is going to have to be a high attack hero. There's no doubt about that, because on the bridge map, generally your second slot hero is going to be safe from enemy attacks, and you want to have somebody who's able to do good damage and doesn't have to worry about getting killed in one shot before they act. So your second slot hero is definitely going to be important in that way. Now, Serenity's got such a good clinch on the second slot that I don't even think there's any hero that you could even replace it with. I'm considering putting Lee in that spot just for some fun times. Depending on if I run into a scissor paper team or something like that. Like I don't know how the formations are going to change with the addition of the new heroes, but it might be more beneficial to drop Serenity for having 2 scissor attackers, depending on how things go forward. Some very tanky and some very good area attack coming in with Azrael and with Angela. So we'll see how the ladder shapes up and how the parties can change. But the way that they are right now, there's really no reason not to use Serenity. The reason Serenity is going to be so strong is all the people that are going to be attacking Serenity are either going to be... Well, for this, it looks like Serenity, Blank, and Kai. So they're all rocks. So Serenity's not going to be having a paper character generally going into their face. Now these two teams run Carrot, so Carrot will be able to shoot Serenity if they act first, which is a bad thing. So you want to have some good tankiness on your Serenity because she is pretty lacking in the HP department. Oh wow, he just jumped up 100 points. Must have had some crazy revenges going on. Gonna play this. Don't want him to queue up against me and play me again before I'm able to have revenge, because you can't stack revenges. But Serenity has really good utility all around the map. She's able to hit things in very ideal ways. When you think of the bridge and the square, the bridges are 3 slots away, making Serenity amazing. Being able to hit in cross shape very frequently. On top of that, I'm going to kill Angela here in one shot. Nice. Alright, so this is one of the weaknesses to Jenny too. Jenny in the second slot as opposed to the first slot. If he went first, then Jenny would have been able to get the bonuses. But since he's got Jenny in the second slot, I was able to kill his other paper hero. So that's kind of bad news bears for him. Now I could kill this Jenny right here, but that would probably put me in a bad position because of the Jenny. I don't want to take too much damage, though Jenny is not really that strong without her crit ability. This person does have a 70% crit though. I think I'm going to come down here and try and charm the Jack. I don't know if my Serenity can kill the Jenny. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's really fine. Oh, that makes me so happy. But Serenity has all these amazing things that she can do and all these great positions she can take because her range is so ideal for both the square. Now, the square is a very small grid, so Serenity's going to be able to position herself to be able to take out 2 heroes so frequently, it'll blow your mind how often that's actually going to be able to happen. I guess I'm just going to go for it. I don't care if he counterattacks me because Serenity's next. Oh, I took him out. Nice. But Serenity is just so damn useful. If you don't have high immunities either, sometimes it's just good to have Serenity around so you can actually just go and heal your debuffs on better characters. Like say Kai gets charmed, for example, I will very frequently go and heal Kai's charm and then use him to attack instead. It's not a hard thing to back up and walk away a little bit, because then you could sometimes delay or deny their third slot's attack if they have no targets for it. So there's lots of things that you can do based off the positioning, and Serenity kind of brings all that stuff to the table. She basically can deal with the most amount of situations. Now I have Kai for slot 3. He's not the guaranteed best slot 3. He's not good on the ice map, which is probably the only thing that's not really great about him. Does anybody know why these hearts are lit up? Is that a cooperation bonus thing? Oh, okay, so you got cooperation with Jenny. Alright, I didn't know that. That's kind of a nice little feature that they have there. My team doesn't cooperate well together, so the hell with that. Maybe Moo is a better... Oh, Kai loves Moo. Poor guy. She needs money. She doesn't need you, bro. Heroes are generally poor. If I let my facts are straight on that one. But the usefulness for that kind of a character is like without limit. She covers 12 spots in a 3x3 grid around her. Having good movement on Serenity makes her so amazingly overpowered. It's hard to actually express in words. Now Kai in the third slot, generally he shines the most on the square map. Your third slot has got to be a huge area sweeper for the square map. You want your tank to be able to draw everybody together, and then you want Kai to just walk in and just kill 3 people. That's the ideal situation. Now, where I am, there's even some Chennies that can one-shot my Bearman, which is pretty damn freaking scary. I think I actually am going to re-roll my Bearman's potentials and try to get all defense potentials, if that's exactly how the armor ignore works, because I need to get higher base defense. If that is the case, because I know there's some players who've got these super Chennies that are just going to walk through anything. And Chenny is very easy to make tanky, to be honest. I'm just going to go over to my Chenny real quick, because she is the most popular one slot right now. I didn't even invest in my Chinese defense at all, and I've got 52%. Like, I never focused on defense. I got no defense potentials. Got this one hit rate for some reason. I was so excited when I saw the pink, then it was hit rate. Pretty upset about that. Maybe re-roll a couple of these, try to get blue ones later. But I got too many things to spend my potential potions on right now. But she's really easy to build a huge amount of HP with. Now, the one thing that I might change is getting rid of her dodge. I do have an extra Ghost Steps sword, so I might break those up and just have a better potential chest piece, for example, that has better potentials, like maybe an 8% HP if I have any willows or something like that, and then throw this sword on another character so I could have 2 Ghost Steppers on my team, just because it'd be really nice. I don't know who I would do. The other thing I've considered is actually giving my Chenny a Pathfinder set and making her the slot 2 and putting Lee in slot 1. Lee's a lot squishier, and because Chenny is so tank, I think that she would be pretty amazing as a slot 2. Now, what I don't like about her as a slot 2 is she would start so far back on the map. So even if I gave her the Pathfinder, she's only got 5 movement, and it's like I haven't really worked out the kinks for that yet. She just shines so much better as a slot 1, but I really, really want to incorporate Lee, and it's just very hard to do it. Now, like I was saying, the reason it's so hard to do it is because you come up with this great team that works very well in all the positions that you could possibly be in. Now, with how much time and effort and energy that goes into things like that, trying to think of, well, who could I put to do this person's job? It's very hard to find somebody that's going to do that job. You basically have to redesign your whole party completely, and then when you get back to the beginning, you're going to say, well, who's the best attacker in the game? Well, that's Lee, but I don't have the ability to make Lee maxed out. And you know what? Lee's not even really that great as a slot 1 character. What's cool about Lee is he's got so much range. Now, Lee would be a great character just to have the Pathfinder set on, which is why I'm thinking about dropping Serenity from my team. Now, I don't think that Lee can fill Serenity's shoes, but in a team where they have maybe a rock slot 1, maybe I would think for an alternation of characters, I would run Lee in slot 2 and drop Bearman so I'm not triple scissor, and throw Jack in as my slot 4 tank, just to deal with people who have heavy teams in one way. Now, I like Bearman for a tank because he deals with both paper leads and he's fine against scissor leads. Nobody gets an advantage against that. That's the reason why I have Bearman right now. I think he does the best job at staying alive, and he's I don't need him to do any attacking. That's just the rationale behind that. A lot of people think that they're going to max out this Bearman and have this character that can just go and kill everything because he never dies, but that's just not how it works. He will die, so don't put your eggs in that basket. It's not practical. Just give me 2 seconds here. Frul is a great slot 1 for stacking crit. His passive is going to make his damage more consistent than Chenny's, because it's just straight, hey, do more critical damage. So that's pretty cool. I think he might, if he had armor ignore instead of instant death, he would be a better attacker than Serenity, without a doubt. But because he doesn't have the armor ignore, it's hard to say who's really the king of that, of those two. I still think it is Chenny because armor ignore is very, 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 very broken. If it ignored, maybe if we changed that mechanic to ignore armor after, then it would really only punish attack type characters that have high defense instead of the other way around. But defenses proved to be a very easy stat to stack, so if they changed it, maybe they would have to up the numbers for how much armor it actually ignores, if we were going to be going for maximums for everybody. And I don't think anybody wants to see in minus 8,000 defense Kai walking around, but that's a discussion for another time. But when you're building your team, it's really good to have this idea of the structure and the what's what for the people that you're going to be fighting against. It really depends on the teams that you're going to be running into. Just say to yourself, you know what, I can beat people of this this field right now. I'm in the top 250 right now, and everybody has a Jack for a tank. It's the only one that they're raising, so maybe I should run a paper slot 1 hero. That would be great. Well, who's a great early game paper hero that you can get? Well, Jenny is for a slot 1 hero. Fantastic. Well, you need another paper hero to activate her. Who's a great slot 2 hero? Well, Carrot's a great slot 2 hero. And almost everybody's going to have a rock slot, slot 3 or slot 2 if they have Kai or Serenity. They're going to be very common. So Carrot's going to be able to actually take advantage of some of the her attack power, which is going to be really nice. So there's a lot of little cool things that you can do to build your teams. But it's going to be very dependent on a lot of different situations that you're running into, and there's no universal absolutely best team. I find that my team is really good at dealing with almost everybody on the ladder, but I don't think that my team is the best team ever made. Like, if everybody stopped using a certain character tomorrow, then I would kind of be shit out of luck, to be honest. Now, could I be hit when... I don't know if I can be hit by that Jenny. No, that's right. She always goes with her low percentage stun. Alright. Well, let's see. I kind of want to be close enough for everybody to go attack that Jenny. Alright, where was I getting at? Yeah, you want to be able to build a team that's good for where you're around, not for absolutely everything, because there's just not going to be a team like that. There's no universal, if you make this team, it's good against everything. Though I would like to say that I think one of the best counters to my team is my team. Now, I would prefer, if I was fighting against my own team, then all these characters are probably the same characters I would use. If I queued up and I saw somebody and I had choice of any characters, any gear, whatever, gear wasn't an issue. It was just any characters versus any characters, and everything was completely balanced. And I saw Chenny, Serenity, Kai, and Bearman. I would definitely still have Serenity in slot 2. Because I'd be too afraid of a Ghost Steps Chenny coming over to kill my second slot and ignoring my tank. That happens all the time. I do it all the time. But if you do that on the bridge map, then Serenity can go up on her second turn and now hit 2 targets because they're in the cross with each other. Like, Serenity's really good against herself in a lot of great ways. The best counter to Serenity is Serenity. It's no paper hero, it's just another Serenity. Kai would basically do the same thing to my team, because all the people on my team in the first 3 slots are walk up into your face attack type heroes. So if they couldn't kill the tank on the first turn, it would be that. Maybe things I would change. I do want to say that maybe I would swap some papers in, or put a rock first slot. Maybe I'd throw my rocks in the first and my papers in the middle, but then it's just too dangerous to watch yourself get killed the other way around. So like it's not going to be a straight, well, if I just go if I go a rock, paper, rock, then I have the advantage against him. That's just not how it's going to work most of the time. That's just not the way that the AI is going to move all the time. Especially on the square map, it doesn't really go like that. They go for the aggro, and they go for their closest targets, and they go for ideal positions where they can maximize the coverage area for their skills. So you can't always just pick, well, I have the paper and the rock and whatever, so now he's got the scissors and the rock, so my rock will fight his scissors and my paper will fight his rock, so I'll have that extra bonus. And it's only a 30% damage increase. There's some characters that are so strong that they break the limit of that 30% damage, and they just make it so that it doesn't really matter that they're taking those in the first place. Like Jenny, I've had a Jenny one-shot my Jenny before. Pretty damn sure that's actually happened, even though I'm so freaking stacked on defense. I'm pretty sure that's actually happened, which is crazy as shit, that a paper hero that's not even high in attack can shoot down my Jenny in one slot. But I believe it exists out there. I'm sure there's a few of them. But you really have to, I can't emphasize this enough, you really have to consider how your formation is going to be fighting against the people that you're fighting against, not that these characters are always the best. Now, I think that what I just said does not apply to Serenity because she's so damn good. Serenity you get for free. Everybody has Serenity, and she is so amazingly useful that as soon as you have her charm even to like level 4 or 5, she's immediately viable in PvP. She's so strong. Even just using her for defensive against other people's Serenities who can charm you, having her in an early position really does great things for her. She gets her passive huge buff from her passive. Not as amazing as as Chenny's, but it's a good buff for having a certain amount of HP. It includes 2 movements, so she's very mobile, and she has even like if you thinking more defensively, if you get charmed, you can turn off that charm with Serenity's skill. So Serenities are mostly going to be in the second slot and the third slot, like you see here. These teams are probably not the most amazingly designed, though there are some people. I think Lord. Let's look at Lord, whatever his name, Lord KHX. Now he's got a tricky formation. Now this is really cool. What I like about his formation. His formation is a Jack that has the gold tiger set in slot 2. Now that is not generally a fantastic thing. I got to get going soon, so I'm going to wrap this up. That's not generally a fantastic thing, but the way that he has set up his team is all the other characters he has are kind of pseudo taunt characters. Now, aggro doesn't work when people are attacking you, and what people are generally going to do is attack the biggest threats first that are easier for them to kill. Now, Chenny is pretty tanky for how strong she is, but Cleo and Serenity are one-shot kills all day long. They're very, very squishy. Being a paper hero is not very good for a slot 4 hero because almost everybody's running slot 1 scissor. But he's planned on that. He said, you know what? I'm going to have this character that has all these great statuses to throw down, and people are going to go and kill her. Boom, knock that off. No one's going to leave Serenity alive to go around and do as she pleases. Boom. And Chenny, his Chenny is probably one of the strongest Chennys that is out there. It can definitely one-shot my Bearman, which is pretty crazy. Let's take a look at this Chenny real quick. 30,000 attack, only 83,000 HP, but a lot of like very high damage potential here. Immediately an extra 700. Oh wow, those are some damn nice potentials. 18 point. That is probably, like, even if it was just a regular item, that is probably the coolest alignment of potentials I've ever seen. And yeah, 30,000 attack. So not too defensive. Probably going to be an easier target, but for the most part, it's pretty damn strong. But the way that he's got it is you attack all these things, kill all these things, and then Jack's left standing, and he's got Jack in kind of a safer position because he's built this super sustainable gold tiger Jack. Now his Jack already has 100,000 health naturally, and then with the gold tiger set on top of that, and especially with the space set for the counter, he's also got aggro. Now I would actually recommend that he got rid of the aggro sets in this position, but he could just be using them for the HP buff. I don't really think that the 4,000 HP is worth it, because what's going to happen for him when he's attacking other people is people are going to go and attack his Jack that he's very cleverly put in a sneaky position that's going to keep him alive so he can trigger this gold tiger set. I really like the Slime King set on this character, just the way that he's built and placed in the party too, because then any attack type heroes are not going to be able to really bring the pain to him, because he's still going to have 60, 70,000 health when he gets below 40%. So it's pretty crazy the way that it's designed. Now it's easy to beat, of course, if you just kill Jack early and you leave Cleo alive. You can kill Cleo really easy. So if you know the trick, it's cool. But if you're fighting things for the first time, this is going to be a really kind of tricky thing to do. And when you're generally not that well known by the people in your general area around you in terms of attack, you can kind of do these little things, switch little sets around. People aren't going to be going down 300 spots in the list to inspect you all the time. So you can kind of do these little tricky things with your formation, but always try to have some kind of underlying goal for the way that you're going to be doing things. If you're going to be kind of going away from the norm, you have to accept the fact that maybe Cleo in slot 4 is generally just going to get one shot all the time. You're going to have to accept that. But if you plan to have this superhero that's going to go and blow the map in half and just rip them to pieces 1-on-4, that's cool too. Like there's little things you can do. Don't feel like it's so linear. And again, this party actually beat me once, but I didn't know about the Jack. I had 2 heroes left. I was left with Chenny and Kai. And he had so much damn health and defense, I wasn't actually able to kill him first time. Now, ever since that, I did test it out a couple more times, and I do need 3 heroes without the effect, because with the effects of my Gold Tiger, I can't, like, my heroes aren't equipped to deal with a percentage HP drain, because my Gold Tiger is just going to give me more health to give to Jack. So, not that amazing of a little thing to happen. But I do need 3 characters to kill that Jack, so now I just kill the Jack all the time. If you know about it, it's really easy to do it. I basically 4-0 this team every single time now, unless Chenny goes first and one-shots my my Bearman. If she gets a crit, she'll one-shot him. But for the most part, that's just how it's going to go. But if you have like a really cool thing that you can do that's going to be kind of tricky and get you into a lot of positions, you can get a lot of good defense wins. But generally, as soon as people know about it, they're going to be able to deal with it. So you don't have to do the more ideal position all the time. But you do want to have a really good reason for why you're doing X, Y, or Z. That's all. But yeah, if you're going to be building your team, you have to be thinking like this. Your strongest attacker and your most mobile attacker are definitely the best slots for first. Now, if they have something like Chenny's got her passive where she takes even a single point of damage, her passive goes away. So that's something that would kind of emphasize her being in a place where she can always attack first. Serenity has the same kind of thing to her where if she takes damage, her passive is going to go away, which makes her very ideal in a second. Now hers is an 80%, so she can still take small hits if she can get away with it. But generally in PvP, that's not going to be such a huge thing, to be honest. But she is still really strong in the first 2 slots. An area sweeper for your 3rd slot. You don't need utilities like charm and things like that in your 3rd slot. What you need in your 3rd slot are people who can bring the pain when everything's grouped together. It's also going to have to be something fairly tanky. Higher health, higher defense is going to be the one way you want to build it. What makes Kai so great at that is you can build him defensively, and his armor ignore is just going to be so damn strong anyways that he hits like he's a 40,000 attack hero with only 22,000 attack instead of 30,000 attack or whatever, because he just hits so damn hard with his armor ignore. It's really strong, and it covers a decent area, and he's got good movement to make use of that. But that's going to be your sweeper for the square map, and you want to have aggro. The aggro on tanks for the square and the bridge map does things you would just never like. The very first time you see it, you're going to wonder, why the hell did the computer do something so stupid as to go out of its way to attack my tank when I had this character one shot away from death? It's just amazing things. And we're going to wrap this up here. Good luck to everybody in their PvP ranks today. It is Sunday, it's 6 o'clock, and things are about to go nuts.